Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about something I've made, or I am in the process of making, involving the new bases feature for Catalyst or early access subscribers? Members? The heck are we? Early access holders for Obsidian. Bases is still currently early access only. It's had a lot of improvements since its introduction a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking I need a really easy way to manage my creative projects. And so that's what I tried to do. So I'm going to show you what I've got. I invite absolutely every kind of criticism because there's a lot of things that I don't really know what the best practices are, for example. And I tend to kind of, you know, sometimes I can be a little inconsistent. Certainly interested in any thoughts you have to make this better. There is one plugin that I'm using. So this is a fresh vault. There's really nothing in here except like this stuff and some dummy notes. And if we go to the community plugin, so I've got a few installed. I'm checking out task notes right now. It's not in the community thing at the moment, but I think it's been submitted. And that does tasks in your notes, each task as a note versus using checkboxes and stuff like that. Because that kind of fits in with what I'm doing here, but that's not actually any part of the vault. It's just something I'm looking at. I'll probably do a video on it when it drops officially in the community list. The one I do have is QuickAdd, which I'm using for a few reasons. So if you don't know QuickAdd, it is basically, it's super powerful. What I'm using it for in here is to very quickly make notes in certain folders out of certain templates and doing some sort of variable sort of stuff that I'll show you. That's it. So I've got new comment on current note, new project group, new subproject, new support document. So I don't quite know if this is like the terminology that I'm going to be keeping forever. I'm just trying to kind of figuring that out. And so each one of those, if you click on it, you get some options. So each one has its own template that it pulls from, and each one has its own specific folder that's going to make the new note in. And let's take a look at those. So basically, the way that I'm thinking about this is there's project groups, which are basically like umbrella names for groups of creative projects, right? And this template has some bases embedded in it for subprojects, which would be like smaller tasks within that project group. And then we've got this right here created. So this is there is like an actual date format for YAML, but I'm just using the like text so that I can put double brackets around it. So this date in the curly braces, that's one of the variables that QuickAdd will look at. And when you make a note with it, it's going to see that and it's going to replace it with the current date. And then the brackets are around it so that if you use daily notes, that will always be a link to a daily note. So you can kind of, use the backlinks or, however you want, you can kind of incorporate that into whatever your existing daily notes workflow is if you use those. And then we've got a tag right here that is pre-populated that kind of lets us know what the note is for, and that's how our bases are going to pull this note. All the notes are going to be pulled by their tag, and then we'll get into this in a moment. Go to the subproject template. See, look, I got project support. I didn't even put template there, but everything else has template at the end. It's very difficult for me, but I'm trying my best. Subproject template. So we can see we've got another embedded base down here, which is for support documents, which is another template we've got here. So a lot of the similar things we have here, type subproject for a tag that goes on it. We've got the date with the curly braces and then the wiki links brackets around it. We've got a status property that has all of the pre-filled like things that it could be, and so once you make it, this will be in the note, all of them, and you just click off whichever ones don't make sense. And then description, URL if you've got something there. Then we've got type, which is these ones down here. It's just like what is this subproject? Article, blog, whatever, video, audio, whatever, anything. And then here we can see we've got another double curly braces. And this is link current. So that's something else that when you make a subproject through QuickAdd, it's going to see this here and it's going to pre-populate it with something. So we'll see how this all works. Then if we go here to the project support template, very similar. We've got a tag. We've got the date. That's going to be a clickable link again. We've got some types pre-filled in that we can just X out the ones that don't apply once we make the note. And then again, we've got the link current. So I looked at this base that has all project groups. So I've currently got 2 in here. We've got one for this YouTube channel. We got one for another YouTube channel I do. And this is the card view. There's also a table view. So you can do it whatever, however you prefer. By default, it's going to have the card view. And then you can just switch it whenever you want. If I click on this one right here, it's going to take me to the project group page. Type project group for this creative project, right? YouTube channel, it's got the URL right there. It's got the clickable link for the date that I made it, which I do not have any daily note stuff set up, so it's just put a fresh one right there. And then there's due dates and completed date fields, if that's something that you do. And then we've got an image field here. Now this image field is going to be what the card view uses for the, the little icon here. One thing to note about this is when you click and drag an image into this field, it's going to put the little exclamation mark in front of it here for embedding it, which won't work with the way the card view is set up. So you have to delete that exclamation mark once you toss it in there. And now if we go down here, it's going to be those embedded bases again that were in the template. However, now because they're in an active note, but because unlike the template, which doesn't have anything that meets these parameters, it's going to have stuff in here. So active subprojects, we've got one thing listed here. If we take a look at the filter that makes this base, it's going to look at all of our notes. It's going to say, hey, which notes are tagged as a subproject? And then it's going to say, okay, now this is a little advanced. If you click this little advanced filter code button right here, you're going to get a single line of text. It's not going to be the little menu driven stuff that you can just click around to mess with. You're going to have a text field. So the way that this text field is interpreted, it's going to go, all right, which notes have the tag subproject in it? And then which of those notes has a field, a YAML property, that is named belongs to, and has that belongs to field the name of this active note. So which of those belongs to fields is going to have the self-discovery channel. Then on top of that, it's going to take just the ones that have the status field as in progress or on hold. And that's it. Now if we go down here to the inactive subprojects, let's take a look at the filter. It's going to be pretty much the same, right? Tags subproject note belongs to this file name because it wants to look at all the subprojects that are attached or belong to this project. But now it's going to say, hey, which of those are have the status field that say idea or planned? So in my head, the way that I kind of think of things are something that's an idea is like a little spurt of information, a thought of something I want to do. And that's really it. Then an idea becomes planned if I've got enough down out of my brain to take those notes and get started actually making it, right? So, and then of course, right above them, you can kind of do whatever you want here. You can, type whatever. And then now these, if you click on them, they'll take you to their own note for it. And then there's another embedded base down there. Now let's go to, let's see, I think this one has support documents. Yeah, we got 2 support documents. Definitely something I'm truly planning on doing. It fits, it fits the spirit of my creative energy. If you go down here to support documents, we've got a general notes document and an outline one. These are actually deprecated. Let me, I've got ones that have cute little emojis now. So let's go ahead and mess with those. And then we've got descriptions. So you can add to all of these types of notes that will pop up right here. So, so we've got a support document that's a receipt, and we've got just the value of the receipt there, so we don't have to actually click into it if we don't want to. Now, what this lets me do is it lets me create a basically like an overarching title for a group of creative projects, right? So in these cases right now, they are YouTube channels. They could be a comic I'm writing, or and those house sub-projects that again could be anything. If the main project group is like a long video, I could have different sub-projects for aspects of the video or something. It's pretty malleable in how you actually go about and structure this stuff, because it's basically just making like arbitrary hierarchies of notes that kind of lead you from the project group down into the different tangential aspects of it. Now, what if that's not enough? Right, so let's go back to this video one. We got some sub documents here. Let's click on this. There's no actual receipt here, but let's say that there was. What if I wanted to go even further and I say that, hey, this note that's got receipt information, maybe I need to make some comments on it. Well, that's something I can do, and I'm going to show you. So right now, the way that I've got it set up is, and there's a couple ways you can do this. You can embed this base I'm about to show you in your notes. And then you can have this base embedded at the bottom of all of your notes, and then it's always just there. But bases have a couple cool features that I'm going to show you right now. You can also put bases, just like any other note, in the side panels and split up into all of the different like ways you can manipulate the UI, the layout, the workspace of Obsidian. You can put a base anywhere, and it's going to function kind of just how an embedded base would. So if I click the little sidebar here, I've got a base. Current note comments is the name of this base, and it's just sitting here in the side panel. So if I take a look at the receipts thing, I've got a comment from Mark, a comment from Dave, a comment from Bruce, right? I should have waited for a sale. How much did you pay? What am I around? Now, if I go back, those disappear because the active notes is a different note now. So those all go away. So what this means is that um, you can have these kind of hyper-specific bases that are embedded into the actual notes. You can have these wide kind of top-level navigation bases that are just in your file explorer, and you click on them to get, that list of stuff that you want to do, where you want to go, the different categories of your vault. And then you can also have these side panes places that are kind of universal bases that could apply to any note potentially. So, for example, you can have this down here. You can have this current notes thing as just at the bottom of your main window. And then as you're going through, if there's any notes, it's just going to pop up there. They just pop up, and then you can just kind of scroll like that. So whatever works for you, you can do it. And something that I found out that might not be obvious is that these really do apply to any type of note. So let's go through the actual process using QuickAdd and everything. We'll show you how this do. So let's say I've got a another project group, and this is gonna be, let's say I hypothetically have a YouTube channel where I start to go through my mini comics and zines because I find that's something that's very interesting to me, and I want to contribute to the ability to kind of catalog and archive some of these really cool pieces of artwork. Let's drag this icon down there, and again, it's going to add that. I'm pointing with my finger, which you can't see, but it's going to add that exclamation mark because it kind of inherently wants you to embed it. But we don't actually want that for that particular property. So I did QuickAdd. I typed in the name in that little prompt. I added some more stuff here. We've got the embedded bases here that have nothing in it right now. Let's go to the all project groups. It's now popped up right there. Let's go ahead and just fill out a little bit more. Now let's make a sub-project. Let's go back up here to QuickAdd, and we're going to go new sub-project, right? Now, belongs to, it automatically says the comics catalog because that was the note that we were on when we hit QuickAdd. So what's that? What is that doing? Well, that is going into the template, right? New sub project, and that is QuickAdd seeing, oh, he's got this link current variable here. Let me fill that in. And so that's filling it in with the note that you had active when you hit QuickAdd. This is key because it just streamlines everything. Now, status, we'll go in progress, and I've got completed, and I've got shelved as well. Shelved would be, obviously, I'm not working on it anymore, but I didn't finish it, right? And those don't show up in the, in here. I do have bases that will show all the shelved ones, but, you know, those don't need to be shown here, right? Especially, like, shelved, maybe. I could see shelved being in the inactive subprojects. Personally, I feel like shelved is like, I'm done, you know, personally. But completed, there's no reason to have like an ever-growing list of completed subprojects at the very bottom of, you know, all your notes. That doesn't make any sense. Under the active subprojects base now, we can see we've got an in progress status under the one we just made. So let me click this here. There's support documents and stuff there. I'm not going to do any support documents. It's the same process. But I will go to QuickAdd again. I'm going to go new comment on current note. Comment text. Can't wait to start this one. Yeah, boom. And then that's it. It doesn't open anything. The thing pops up and it's gone. So what happened? Well, if I click open the side panel, and we've got that base selected that's in the side panel, the current note comments, it's right here, right? Grendel is one of my fave comics. Love Matt Wagner. Oh, look at that right there. So this is so useful. I can't put into words how useful this is. I love this. Now, not only do I love this, but I love another part of this that I didn't think would work, but it does. So let's go ahead and So I've got a canvas here, and in the canvas I've got the all projects group base embedded, right? So we can resize it. We can even change the view and go to that the table view, go back to the card view. We can change the properties. We can do everything. It's all right there, just as if we had the base itself opened up, right? We can move it around, click on stuff, all that. Let's open up the side panel. Let's go new comment on current note. This is a note on a canvas file. And it sure is, buddy. We've got a note that's on a canvas file. Now if we click on this, it's gonna change because now the active note is this base. See? And if we do QuickAdd while this is selected, it's a little wonky because I had this selected, so there's no the notes from the canvas aren't here, but if I go QuickAdd while this is selected, it makes it in the canvas. So I just made another comment note, and now it's showing up here when I've got this base open. Let's go back to that canvas, right? Let's make this a little smaller. Everything's kind of zoomed in so you guys have a easier view of it. So nothing's selected, so it's like the canvas itself is selected. We got the notes that I made on the canvas. These are linked to the canvas. If I click on this, now we've got the note that's made on the base. So if you're on a canvas, you can make notes that are attached that belong to that canvas, but you can't make notes onto these notes inside of the canvas if they're selected. But it will change the side panel. So it mostly makes sense, but it's slightly unintuitive. So how are these comment notes stored? Well, they just go into a folder, and all they say are comment on, and then they've got a date and time stamp, so that yeah, I've tried to like, do I want the like current note name in there, comment on, and then like whatever the name of the note is. I don't want the things to be too, the names to be too long, so I didn't decide not to do that. But I do need them all to have a unique name by default, so that's why the timestamps are there. Plus, I feel like it's unnecessary because the point of them is for them to be ever present in the sidebar. So you're not really going to need to, you shouldn't need to go through the actual folder itself. Now, one minor caveat is if you delete a note, currently I don't have any idea on how I would make it so that the comment notes are deleted as well. I don't think I'd want to, really. So that might be a way or a reason to go into the actual note that they're stored in, but trivial, I think. I think it's pretty minor. And yeah, so I think that's it right now. I'm having a lot of fun going through and seeing how these embedded bases work in different scenarios. It's a little odd in some cases, granted, but very, very cool. I think bases in the canvas are super neat. Um, and QuickAdd is just absolutely fantastic. And so, like I had mentioned earlier, once I get this a little bit more fine-tuned, a little bit more, consistent and user-friendly, I'm gonna just put it out there for people to download if they want, play around with it. But even until then, how are you using bases? What cool, weird things have you done with the embedding of them? Can you make a base that lists all the canvases in your vault? I don't even know. I haven't tried that. You probably can, right? Can you make a base that lists all the bases? I'm sure you can. So a lot of interesting stuff coming out of this plugin. Again, it's only for the early access people right now, and it might stay that way for a while. It is being updated pretty frequently, and in some cases there have been updates where it's like the way certain things work just changes completely, and it just means you have to adapt. You have to go through and maybe rebuild your bases or change how you do some of the advanced filters and stuff. But early days, so that's just par for the course. So there you go. That's something I've been working on, something I'm excited about. It's fun. I think I'm gonna have some good times kind of integrating this into my main vault and using it to kind of build out a more sophisticated and intuitive kind of collection of creative notes for myself, at least. So there you go. Thank you.